welcome back to Grumble and Growl. I'm Gail Tosh, your host, as we examine issues from the local to the global perspective so that you can make better choices. We have a very important day coming up here in Onondaga County. We have the primary election. And speaking of the primaries, I am here with Deputy Mayor Sharon Owens. She's running in the primary, the Democratic primary, to be mayor for Syracuse, New York. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. It's an exciting / scary time right now for me. I'm a first time I've ever run for office.
Really?
So as deputy mayor, I'm appointed by the mayor.
That's fantastic.
So I was appointed by him. So for about 18 months, I was talking myself in and out of running for mayor, because I see that job firsthand every day. And then finally, after talking to my family, you're always your mother's kid, I guess, because I talked to my mom.
It's true. It's the truth.
And she said, Sharon, if you do not do this, you will regret it your whole life. And so I think about just a little bit about my background. So I'm originally from the Finger Lakes, Geneva, New York, home of Hobart and William Smith College. And of course, my parents, when I was preparing to go to college, was like, "You got a great college right in town." And I was like, "Oh no, that's not what college is about. I'm getting out of here." So, but I wasn't really ready to go too far. And thank goodness we have an amazing university right down the road in Syracuse. And so I came here in '81 and got started on a track for an economics degree at Syracuse University. And with an economics finance degree, of course, in my mind, I'm ready to go to Wall Street. I'm going to be down there in the financial district, right?
Yep.
So that's what I have in my mind. And then I got an opportunity to do an internship at the Dunbar Center on State Street the summer going into my junior year. And it was an amazing opportunity. When I went to SU, I was part of the inaugural women's track and field team.
Oh,
back in the
fantastic!
Back in the time of the mighty Big East. What I will always those rivalries were the best, the Big East. And
what was your event?
I was a jumper, long jump, triple jump, high jump.
Oh,
and I was a Big East champ. I was a ECAC division champion.
Wow.
And I qualified for the Olympics in the long jump. Wasn't long enough to actually go to the Olympics or go to the Olympic trials, but it was an amazing achievement for me. And so when they were looking for interns for the Dunbar Center, I know they were looking for, I'm in the weight room with the football players and the basketball players during the summer, and they're like, "We want an intern to come down and work with the families and the children." And I was like, "Yeah, I want to stay in town and I'll do it." And it started a love affair.
Oh.
How do you love the city without loving the people and the families? And so I got to meet the children, and through the children, I met the families, and I completed 2 internships there. So my junior year and my senior year.
Oh, wow.
And then I had to make the decision. Are you going to, I didn't change my major. I kept my economics major and got that degree in 1985. And I had to make a decision. And, was I going to still go to New York City? And I was like, too late, I fell in love. I fell in love with Syracuse and decided to stay here.
Yeah.
Come on. This place draws you in. And I've been here ever since 1985, 40 years. I've been 30 of the 40 years I've been working in the community. So I worked at the Dunbar Center, worked for Peace Incorporated for 14 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So at Peace, I really got my chops. Worked for Head Start, working birth to 5. Pregnant moms and their children 5, because teaching them they're the first educators of their children, and working with so many families there about, listen, you are your child's best chance. Let's go back to school. Let's get your GED. Let's do all the things you need to do.
I love this message, because here in the United States, we talk about putting our children first, and so rarely do we actually put our money where our mouth is.
Oh, the federal government just cut Head Start. Who does that?
Right, right. So I love what you're saying about protecting the most unprotected.
Yes.
The people who cannot,
absolutely,
protect themselves.
And that's what my whole career has been about. And I don't know if you remember, I was working up at what I will always call Hilltop, Parkside Commons over there. Used to be called Hilltop, on the Lower East Side of town. Running a program there because our infant mortality rates, particularly amongst women of color, were atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're still bad. I myself lost a child, my second child. I have three.
I'm so sorry to hear. I did not know that story.
Years ago, my daughter, who's 34, was 3 years old, and here I am, professional woman, health insurance, everything else, and my husband's namesake was born. Went into labor at 27 weeks, and he's just, so he was in the NICU, and that whole experience. And you always ask yourself, why do you go through certain things?
Painful,
but it is just that work was very personal to me, right? And so I have two children. One is 34. She's a downtown resident. She lives downtown, loves downtown. Trying to talk her into, we're growing up, it's like, okay, get your house, buy a house. And I'm like, Simone, you're 34 years old. It's time to get a house. She's like, no. Yeah. I don't want to mow. I don't want to shovel. I love living downtown. So one of the things I hope through our new zoning law is we'll be able to, believe it or not, we couldn't build townhomes in Syracuse before that zoning law was passed a couple of years ago. Really? Right. So we have a few developments happening in the city that will develop townhomes, and I'm gonna, a townhome. It's not, a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath house. That probably is too much for you. But a townhome, so hopefully she'll become a homeowner soon. And then I have my son Isaac. My son Isaac is 25 years old. When he was about two and a half years old, I started realizing that something was different. And he was diagnosed with autism, so he's in the spectrum. I always say that kid's life created the family I have. Oh. Just the perspective of just this world. When you have a family member that sees the world, feels the world, hears the world differently than you do, you adapt. Your family adapts to their perspective of the world. So he's my 6'3", 25-year-old baby. Same exact thing in my family. Same exact really thing. Yeah, so I have a 20-year-old who is 6'3" or 6'1", something. He's always excited to be the tallest in the room. But yeah, he's also on the spectrum. Wow. Yeah. Wow. So, small world. Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't it make you just the best you can be? Yeah, well, it can. It really? Really? Yeah. Yeah. I'm so thankful for my husband because so I'm the athlete. My husband plays the bass. Neither one of my children are athletes. So I had to get over it. My daughter is an artist. She does spoken word and paints. Oh, great. And my son is a drummer. And the interesting story about my son is that when he was in the 3rd grade, his teacher says he could read music. Now, he couldn't read. But he could read music. But he could read music. Yeah. And so it was that moment for me that I was like, what are you talking about? He said, Sharon, we show him the notes. We tell him what the notes are. We give him one time the cadence of the notes. We put the sheet in front of him, and his brain just picks it up. And so that was when I was like, what are the aspects of how he learns? Not how I learn, not how you learn. How does he learn that I can really build upon? So he is a Nottingham High School graduate. Oh, great. And an OCC graduate. Oh, great. So he's been gap yearing for a couple of years right now. So we're still trying to figure out what's going on. But he is a true blessing to us. That's fantastic. So let's go back to what we were talking about with the mayor appointed you. Yes. Congratulations. The mayor must have seen that you had some strengths. What do you think he saw that you bring to the table? So one thing, he saw me in action because when I worked for Stephanie Minor, after leaving home headquarters, she saw me in the housing area when I was working in housing. And she asked me to come on as Deputy Commissioner of Neighborhood Development for Housing. My counterpart on the business development side was Ben Walsh. Okay. So we saw each other in action. And then I left 3.5 years into Minor to go run the Southwest Community Center. Felt like going back home to not-for-profit work. And then Ben Walsh won the impossible election. And he said, I want you to come back. And I said, okay, I've done the department thing. I really want to be in the hub of things where I can affect policy and help you guide your policy development. And that's how I got this title. He said, I got a job for you, Deputy Mayor. And so I have learned a lot through this administration. I think we've accomplished a lot. We still have a lot to go. That's why I want to be mayor. So where do you see the continuation of this
going? You're in policymaking. Where do you think policymaking needs to go?
So I think the mayor has spent a lot of time, rightfully so. A city has to grow off of growing infrastructure. So the sidewalks, the road work, the lighting program that we have, how we manage our sanitation and our trash with the recycling and the trash bins, and that adjustment to how we manage our waste in our community. I've seen the trajectory of our built more cranes around here than we've seen in a long time. I want to improve the human condition trajectory along with that growth because that's really where I come from, what my background is. And so what does that mean for people in this community? It means economic opportunities that are going to be here mean nothing unless it hits the purse or the wallet of individuals in this community. So I'm very proud of the workforce initiatives, working with some grassroots organizations like the Urban Jobs Task Force to prepare our local individuals to get them in a union apprenticeships. They're on that 81 project working to this day.
That's awesome.
And so that one young man who went through our training said, for the first time ever, I took my family on vacation. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's about, someone said it to me, it's going from life to living.
Yeah.
Just not
pursuit of happiness.
Yes.
We're supposed to be guaranteed that.
We're not going to put a dent in poverty unless we improve the income in households. And so what we address, and we should, are because of poverty, the limited household choice, the limited food choice. We are a food desert. Yeah. The limited health choices, even though New York State, we're blessed to be here to have the health exchange, but you have limited choices.
Yes. Nobody takes Medicare.
Right.
Nobody takes it.
Right.
So you can be covered, but you can't go anywhere to actually get the work done.
Unless you have a job with a health benefit, with benefits, to give you some options of healthcare. And so those are the residual effects of the virus I call poverty. And we should treat those. Those are all the symptoms. You know you have a cold, but I want to get to the root of the cold. Yeah. And the root of the cold of poverty is financial. Yeah. It's defined by your financial status. So until we get money in the households, one other thing about the training is that we just don't identify the individual that walks into the training, but we're assessing every other adult in that house. Because most middle income housing have more than one income. Yep. Right? Oh yeah. So poverty, addressing poverty, but housing. And that is where I'm glad to be a part of the Walsh administration, but we still have work to do. Yeah. We have to build much.
We've got Micron coming. We are behind now.
Yes. Not just them, the residual companies. There are companies in the tech industry here now hiring people. Yeah. And so looking for not a variety of housing, but what we want to make sure is that we cannot become Seattle, where we outpriced everyone to be able to live in the city. I agree. And so our zoning law has helped us, because anything that's built in this community now, if you build over 75 units, you must have 12% affordable in that building. Anything under 75, you must have 10% affordable. That ensures that downtown, there's not a building downtown that there's people not living on top of. Yeah. That we want to make sure that everyone has a choice. My daughter is that low middle income. She's still in the entry level of her professional career, but she can afford to live downtown because of that affordability requirement. Right. And she loves living downtown.
Oh, that's great. I love that you're in love with the city. I've talked to a lot of politicians this little political season heading up to the primary who feel the same way. So there's people out there who've been listening to your story and seeing your passion. What do you want to tell them to do?
So we have to understand that every vote matters. And we're learning that so many people are not even registered.
How can you not be registered in today's
Onondaga County Board of Election, you can become registered. We are so blessed to be in New York State. You can go to the DMV. There are so many online. There are so many options for us. You must, first of all, be registered. And then voting for the national, we come out in droves. But then we don't come out for local elections.
Which is crazy, because they take the first bite out of your finances. It's personal.
The president is not going to address your pothole. I was dealing with somebody today who said, I got a pothole. I took the address down.
Right.
President is not going to do that. The mayor will ensure that's done. The mayor will ensure that's done. I'm asking you to go out and vote. I want you to vote for me. You heard some things from me about why I'm passionate. I chose to live in Syracuse because I saw the potential, still see the potential of this great city, but more just the physical aspect of the city, all of these amazing people, our diversity, our eclectic nature of who we are makes us the city we are.
Yeah.
And as the mayor, I will defend that to the end.
Oh.
Defend that to the end.
That's great.
Thank
you so much, Sharon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being on the show today. Deputy Mayor Sharon Owens, hopefully to be mayor soon.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye for now.